Hi guys, I am back with another video. Today we are going to be making Play-Doh. This is a completely non-toxic Play-Doh. I know that they say that the Play-Dohs at the store are safe to eat, but they have dyes, they have different preservatives, all kinds of things like that that we don't want our kids ingesting. So today I'm going to be making it, showing you how to do it with all foods that they can eat. I'm even going to be making my own dye, food coloring. So I'm just going to be making one color for this video, but the next video I will be making pretty much all the colors that you can buy from the store. So today we're going to be making yellow. Alright, so for yellow food coloring, I'm just going to start by adding a 1/4 cup water. Just like that. And I'm going to add 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric. Okay. We're going to use the smaller one because it's not wanting to fit in. I'm just going to stir it up. Now the food coloring is going to last longer in color, but again, it is toxic. There are many different risks to ingesting standard food dye, and so that is actually going to be something that I go over in the specific food coloring video. But this, as you can see, it has a pretty good pigment, and we're only going to be using a very, very small amount of this. I mean, just like a couple of drops, like how you would use food coloring if you're buying it from the store. Next, I'm just going to add the dry ingredients to a saucepan. You can use one smaller than this if you want to, but we're just going to start out by adding our dry ingredients. So our dry ingredients, and you can obviously multiply this recipe, but I'm just making a small amount since I don't have any kids that are going to be playing with it. I'm just going to be, like I said, using the small amount. So I'm going to use 1/2 cup of flour. And I know it's going to seem like a lot of salt, but if you don't use the salt, then it's going to be sticky. So just have my 1/2 cup flour in there. Now, typically you're going to want to use cream of tartar, but I don't have cream of tartar, and I didn't really want to buy it just for Play-Doh. So you can substitute with baking powder. It's just not going to give you as good of a consistency. So with the baking powder, you're going to use 1.5, whereas with the cream of tartar, you're going to use 1. So I'm using 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, but if you're using cream of tartar, it's going to be 1 teaspoon. So let me grab a little teaspoon. Hang on, let me take this off so it doesn't get the rest of them dirty. Okay, so like I said, I'm using 1.5 of baking powder, not baking soda. Then lastly, we're going to be using a 1/6 cup of salt. So I've cut the recipe in half. Typically you're going to be using about a 1/3 cup, but I'm just using a 1/6 because, like I said earlier, I just didn't want to make too much because this is going to make almost 4 cups if you use the full. Okay, so this is a 1/3 cup measuring spoon, but I didn't fill it all the way. I just filled it about halfway. So I'm just going to go ahead and pour that in. And then next, we're going to take 1/2 cup of water, put it in its own little bowl, and then, let's see, this guy is separating, but that's okay because once it gets into the solid form, it's not going to. So you just want to stir up your food coloring again, and you're just going to add some into this water. Now, again, you are going to need more than what you would use if you're buying actual food coloring. just gonna put a little bit more because I want to get it really vibrant, and I kind of want to see how it's gonna look if we use that whole amount. Now, remember, if your kids are eating this, it's not gonna taste great, they're not gonna like it, but it's not gonna get them sick, and that's what we're going for, because kids put everything in their mouth. So, you know, food coloring in small amounts, if you're good with it, you know, that's fine, add that in here. But I loved playing with Play-Doh as a kid. I don't recall ever eating it, but I know a lot of kids do. So with that being said, I just don't really want to take the risk of poisoning children. Okay, lastly, we're gonna take half a tablespoon of whatever oil you want. You can use canola oil, you can use vegetable oil, you can use coconut oil. I'm using coconut oil just because, again, that's what I have. I don't use vegetable oil or canola oil in my house because they have toxins in themselves. They're not fantastic to use. So if I were making this for a child, I would want them to be ingesting coconut oil if they were to eat it instead of the other alternatives. So I'm just gonna stir this guy in there as best I can. Okay, I'm gonna add this into our saucepan and try to get all of that covered well. Okay, so this is what you want it to look like. I'm just gonna take this over to my oven. I had it preheating, that way it would cook fast. It should only take, really 20 seconds to 2 minutes, just depending on if you preheated your eye, if you have a gas eye. So we'll see how this one goes. Again, you just wanna get everything covered well. Now I may add some more of the food coloring in here. You're just gonna stir this until it gets kind of clumpy. Just keep stirring, just keep stirring. All right, I'm gonna put the phone down and do this with 2 hands. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep on stirring. It's almost like pancake batter. The bubbles are coming up in it. You want it on a medium heat. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit because, like I said, I did have it preheating. And I think I am gonna add a little more of that turmeric in there because it's not quite the yellow color that I want it to be, so. You want to do this as quickly as possible because it is, like I said, it is a fast process. Kind of looks like eggs in here. I'm going to add a little more. Food coloring. It's hard to know with natural dyes how stuff is going to work well. I made a natural dye for some towels a while back and it didn't do too well. Now if you have, back to this, if you have uneven color, that's okay because you are going to be playing with it and it'll get everything all nice and mixed up. You can see that it's at a nice thick consistency. Okay, I am gonna take this, I'm gonna make a little divot in it. I'll show you guys what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the heat off though. All right, while it's warm, While it's warm, I'm just gonna add some more of the turmeric coloring in there. I mean, it's nice and yellow, and I think that color's probably gonna come out a bit more. As it sets, it seems like it's becoming more yellow, but alright, I'm gonna put this in a bowl and let it dry. Not dry, but cool down. Using the same bowl that I had when I was mixing the ingredients together before I put it in the saucepan, so I'm just gonna drop this guy stuff in here, and you can see I cut the recipe in half, and I still got this much out of it. I actually got a bit more than I wanted. Okay. I can already tell this is gonna be fun to play with. Okay, I'm gonna let this cool for a couple of minutes. This is what it looks like now. And I will show you again once it's fully cooled. All right, guys, it's still a little bit warm, but I'm gonna go ahead and take it out. This is what it's looking like now. So the color is a bit uneven. And honestly, I think it might be a little sticky. So if that's the case, I'm just gonna add a little bit more salt to piece it all together, because I did add a good bit of the water with the turmeric in it. So I'm just gonna knead it together. I'm gonna wait until it fully cools before I start adding more to it. But you can see it's a really pretty yellow color. It turned out really good. And it's kneading really well. It does smell very turmeric-y, but that's to be expected because, like I said, I added a lot in there. Now, if this is good to store, so you can just store it either in a little storage container, or you can store it in a plastic baggie. By the time that you take it out again, if it has, if it's dried out a little bit, you can add more coconut oil to it. You can put it back in the pan to warm up to give it back that squishy consistency. And then if it's sticky, like I said, you can add some more salt to it. And I would do it while it's warm. So warm it up and then add some salt to it to get it to be a little less sticky. Yeah, this is perfect consistency. I'm really very pleased with this. So here's the color. Hang on, I'll go to some better lighting. That way you can see it a little bit better. Okay, so this is the color. You can see it's a lot more vibrant over here in good lighting than it was over in my kitchen. So you don't have to add that much turmeric if you don't want to, but it's perfect for me. Like I said, it is still warm, but it's not sticking, so I don't think I'm even gonna have to add anything. And it's also not dyeing my hands, which is fantastic. One good thing though, which I know your little ones are probably not gonna care, but the coconut oil is giving my hands, like, it's moisturizing them. So that's really nice. But like I said, I'm gonna let it cool down all the way. I'll come back and we'll play with it a little bit. Okay, I'm back. It is cool. It is yellow. So I'm gonna pinch a piece off. Let's see what we can make. Okay. Really, I'm just doing this to show y'all how well it works like Play-Doh. It is not breaking up, so that's really good. Just for funsies, in a minute, I'll take a bite. Tell y'all how good about it is. It's probably gonna be terrible, but just so we know for the kiddos that it's actually edible. Let's make a little game. Do you think you can guess what I'm making here? My little piece of art. It's working really well. These pieces are sticking back together fantastically. It's flattening out great. And then let's see how it peels up. It's peeling up well. This would be a great activity for kids. Because I mean, if you mess up, who cares? They mess up the recipe, you know? But, all right, moment of truth. Let's eat a bite. Just for the record, I hate turmeric, so this is probably going to be disgusting, but it's very salty. Can't taste the turmeric though, but it's really salty. So it's not gonna make your kids throw up anything. Actually, sounds really weird, but that actually tasted really good. But yeah, so anyway, I hope that you guys, I will say there's a little bit of breakage when you're trying. So, you know, typically with Play-Doh, if you try to grab and do like that, it's going to stretch. So it's not extremely stretchy, but the cream of tartar actually helps with elasticity. So if you use the cream of tartar instead of the baking powder, then it's gonna stretch a lot better. But as you can see, the baking powder does work really well. And it's, I mean, you already have baking powder in your house. You may not have the cream of tartar. So, alrighty, so it is all done. I'm just gonna pop it in my baggie. I'm gonna flatten it in here and get as much of the air out as I can, because I don't want it to dry out. But like I said earlier in the video, there are things that you can do, adding more oil, putting it in the pan and letting it heat up, that are all gonna add the moisture back to it. So I'm just gonna do that, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and write today's date, which is 8/3/22. And that is it. It'll be ready for next time you're ready to play with it. If you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Like I said, next week I will be doing all of the different colors, showing you how to make those food dyes, natural, toxic-free food dyes. And if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave those in the comment section. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Super fun to make. Y'all let me know if you do it with your kids. Y'all have a great day.